Welcome to It All Starts With You. I'm your host, Eileen Lemelman, licensed clinical social worker, best-selling author, and motivational speaker. We'll share stories of hope, perseverance, and success that will inspire you to live a meaningful life. This show will motivate you, educate you, and encourage you to manifest your dreams into reality at any age. Because it all starts with you. Now on to the show. Hi there. It's Eileen Lemelman, the host of It All Starts With You, and I'm so glad you're here today. Ever sit in a restaurant or just at home and calculate all the calories that you're going to eat on the plate, or decide what you're going to order in the restaurant based on the calories? We have been constantly taught as women that our value and our worth comes from the size of our body. And I'm not talking about the fat body. I am talking about the thin body. I'm talking about being ingrained in this culture, socially and culturally, to think that thin is going to make me happy, is going to make me healthy, is going to make me superior. And all my problems will be solved if I could only be thin. And so what that has done, it's made all of us obsessed with being as small as possible, eating as little as possible, and restricting our food take as much as possible, because that's the only way we're going to be valued in this society. That's what we're taught. I mean, we live in this society where celebrities are judged on how much weight they've gained and publicly shamed because of that, or praised because they're so thin and they've lost weight and they, look a certain way. That's not where our value comes from, but that's what we have been taught. And so, it's so interesting because when women are polled, they would much rather have cancer than be fat. Can you believe that? Choosing cancer over being fat. That's the real commentary on what we're taught as women. So today, I have a very special guest where we're going to dive deep into these kinds of discussions. Her name is Stephanie Dodier. She's a clinical nutritionist, certified intuitive eating counselor, host of her own 2-ranking podcasts, and developed some eating methods or non-diet coaching methods. As a matter of fact, that's where I met Stephanie, through a coaching for professionals. And, I do have a specialty in eating disorders, so I'm always looking for ways to learn and improve my approach to helping women with their disordered eating and their really distorted body weight, body image, and relationship with their food. So I thought Stephanie would be the perfect person to come on board with us and really dive deep into some of these questions. So let's bring her on and welcome Stephanie. Hi,
Thank you for
Stephanie.
having me on.
Oh, thank you for agreeing to be on. I think you have a wealth of knowledge, and your approach is going to surprise my audience because it's a little bit different than, talking about how to lose weight and what's the magic pill and what's the sauce that you can give us to make us all thin, right?
Absolutely.
So how did we get here, Stephanie? How did we get to this place where we're so obsessed with our weight, our bodies, and obsessed with being thin?
And I was listening very carefully at your introduction where you talked about being obsessed and being consumed by our body weight and our image. And I want to say to everyone listening, that was me for 25 years. So, to answer the question, how did we get here? I got here because for 25 years, the most important goal in my life was either to lose weight or to maintain the weight loss. And I've done all the things that were available in that up to 10 years ago. And I got to that point because I was thought, just like all the women or people identified as women, that my worth in this world was going to come through the way my body looked. And then I was given a goal, an ideal of what the body should look like. And my primary goal, where my resources should go, would be to achieve that goal. And that's why we have products and diets and books and TV shows and blogs on the internet dedicated to women to shape their body in the ideal that society tells us we need to look. And that has been present in our society. That's called the thin ideal. The culture, there's another term that some of you may be familiar with, is becoming more and more popular: diet culture, the culture of dieting. And it's so prevalent in society that we don't see it until somebody shines a light on it and say, like, this is a culture of dieting. It's not the truth. It's not the only thing that is possible for you. We don't see it. So diet culture is this system of belief that tells women that they must be thin, that in order to be valued in society, that they must have a body that is a size 0 to 4, like a tiny body, take less space, be less disturbing, be less present, like phase yourself out in as small of a body as you can. And here's all the tools in order for you to do that, from diets to food to meal plan and to surgery, medication, that are now present in our society, all aim at achieving this ideal for women. That's how I got here. That's how my client got here. And unfortunately, we think it's the norm. For
Yes.
25 years, I just thought that is what it is. There's no
Well,
other choice for
first
me.
first of all, a lot of us in this industry and in this realm of trying to help people with their disordered eating or their really,
Yeah,
dysfunctional relationship with their body and hating their body. I mean, body hatred, really. Um, is because, very often we've struggled ourselves. And listen, I'm in that same boat.
yes.
I've struggled my whole life with, you know, yo yo dieting and hating my body and avoiding certain occasions because I was afraid that I didn't have the right outfit or people were going to judge me or I just didn't want to be seen, really. And isn't it interesting that very often, women that don't are really worried about their body and don't want to be seen go into trying to not be seen by trying to be as thin as possible. We lose
Absolutely.
our identity.
We
The
lose
I
our power, can I say, Eileen? We
Yes.
lose our power. And when
Yes.
you start digging into what diet culture is, and I invite everybody listening here to go and Google that term. What you will find, if you've never know of that term, will really enlighten you. But when we start digging in the history of this phenomenon that is diet culture, we can really start drawing a parallel between how women over the last 150 years have claimed back their power, like from the right to vote, to the right to own land, to the right of equal pay. With every layer of power over the course of the 150 years we were claiming, the goal post of what we should look like was getting smaller and smaller and smaller.
Yeah.
Maintaining women in this space of being subdued. Like, we have to give you the power as a society because it's just the right thing to do, but we're going to throw you something else where you don't use that power and you stay focused on your body. Because let's face it, Eileen, and I'm sure you'll agree with me, when you're caught up in that cycle of wanting to be smaller, all your resources, your time, your your money, your mental space, your emotional space is consumed by being smaller and criticizing yourself instead of pursuing bigger goals in your life, that it is for your career, for your family, for hobbies that you want to have, because your resources are all spent on trying to be smaller or maintaining a small body.
So let's talk about that whole idea of, over the last 150 years,
Yeah.
how we have, in a lot of ways, claimed our power, stepped
Yeah.
into, the powerful positions in careers, with money, with voting, with equal pay, although, we're not where we really
Yeah.
should be, but
Exactly.
we have made tremendous strides. But I'm going to
Yeah.
throw this out, and I want you to sort
Yeah.
of speak to it, which is what have is it about men doing this to us and
Mm.
the patriarchal society that you talk about so often? And, how the more powerful we become, the more the diet culture tells us we need to be smaller and smaller and smaller. In other words, disappear.
So it's such a good question. That starts with some fundamental. There's a word called patriarchy. Patriarchy is a societal system that is built, structured to place men in position of power. So we have matriarchal society, patriarchal society. Currently in North America, we have been living in a patriarchal society where men are in a position of power for the last 2,000 years, approximately. And we as women are in a position of dispower because it's a binary way of looking at who can be in power. It's not equality amongst all. It's like one of the two gender must be in power. And that's the power I was talking about, who are claiming back over the last 150 years. So women have done a lot of work to to have more equality between the two gender. So it's not about men, it's about patriarchy. So it's not about your husband, your son. It's about the system that is called patriarchy. And I think that's really important for women listening to this. It's not about men versus women. It's about patriarchy versus women in an approach that is a feminist approach for women to claim back their power in a society that wasn't built for them.
I think that is really important. Yes. And when I said men, I wasn't vilifying men, but
I know.
yes, in a lot of ways, um, listen, the patriarchy is about, this country was, well, I'm in the United States. I know you
Yeah.
might be out and about in the world, but in the United States, this country was founded on, the founding fathers. And so
Yes.
we kind of give over we're being told what to do and how to eat and how to live in a lot of ways by media, by culture, by government, right? All of these things. And
Yeah.
for a majority of these are really controlled by men, although it is changing for sure.
Yeah. And we
Yeah.
want to think beyond just the size of our pants, Eileen. We want to think about aging. Both of us are above 40. I'm 47. And society tells me I should not have wrinkle. I should hide the color of my hair. I should not get older. I should not get fatter. I should eat healthy. Like, there's so many things that are given to us as goalposts well beyond the size of our pants.
Yes. So that's a really good place to come back to because, I'm all about let's, you know, support, encourage, and keep going
Yes.
because age doesn't define us, just like a size of a pant doesn't define us. And yes, if we're told that, I'll just say this and then we'll have to go to a commercial break. But I've been looking on social media about what they are doing to poor Julia Roberts these days. She was found in a bathing suit with cellulite and some wrinkles and, maybe a little pouch that we all get when we're in menopause or approaching menopause. And she is being condemned and really shamed and made to feel so less than if she looks at it because she's in this aging, beautiful body. We need to learn how to celebrate our folds, our wrinkles, our gray hair, and really begin to look at that as a way of that's my wisdom. That's my
Yes.
starting off point. That's not my ending point. And so I love where we're going with this. So stay tuned because when we come back, it's going to be so much more. And we're going to get richer and deeper into this discussion. But we'll take a brief commercial break.
Palermo, Landsman, and Ross is a full-service tax and accounting firm located in Cooper City, Florida. For over 35 years, they have been assisting clients worldwide with solutions to assist clients with income tax planning, bookkeeping, consulting, and complex accounting issues. With constant tax law and rule changes, you need a competent, professional, and responsive accounting firm to have your back year-round. Please visit www.plrcpas.com to learn more about Palermo, Landsman, and Ross and the services they offer.
Eileen Lemelman is a highly experienced licensed clinical social worker and psychotherapist, offering 30 years of insight into the healing of trauma, anxiety, and depression. With a patient and individualized approach tailored to every client's needs, Eileen leads her patients on a journey of self-discovery and healing, with the goal of ultimately achieving balance, joy, and fulfillment in life. No matter how old you are, it's never too late to live a passionate, happy life. Eileen is ready to support you on your journey to healing. Contact Eileen Lemelman today at 631-988-8453 to schedule your appointment today.
You're watching It All Starts With You with Eileen Lemelman. To join in the conversation, give us a call at 888-994-4995, Studio A. Now back to the show. So welcome back. We are having a most amazing discussion with my guest, Stephanie Dodier, who is a certified nutritionist and also an intuitive eating counselor and also a mentor and a coach for the undieting approach to loving our body. And so, welcome back, Stephanie. And I love this discussion that we're having. You know what I want to talk about now?
Yeah.
I want to talk about how do we love our body if it's not what society tells us is the norm or, acceptable. How do we love our body if we're overweight, obese, fat? I mean, there's this whole approach of HAES, health at every size. How is that possible to be happy and healthy at every size that we're at?
My proposition is different. My proposition to women is not to love their body, because I believe that seeking to love our body maintains us in this belief that we are lovable because of the body we're in. We are innately worthy. We are born worthy. We are born lovable, no matter what our external look may be today or will be in the future. My proposition to women is to become body neutral. is to change the reason why we have a body, change the inner narrative that we have a body as a tool to experience life. We have a body that allows us to walk. We have a body that allows us to be touched, to have sensation being felt. We have a body that allows us to hear music, to see beautiful things, to taste amazing food. The reason why we have this body is not to please other or to feel worthy, but is to live our best life. So my solution is body neutrality. And then from that place, once we've changed and alter what we believe about having a body as a woman, is then to go on a journey of supporting that body. So when you're talking about health, it's not about controlling our body, but it's about being an ally to our body and respecting our body by giving our body what it needs to best function so we can live the best life that is accessible to us.
Yeah, I love that. The body neutrality. That if there's any takeaway from today, it's that. Because I think that's going to really reduce the charge around
Yes.
food weight, body image, about body size, about, hating our body if it doesn't look a certain way, to be body neutral and to celebrate our body for all that it does give us. I love that. But I guess, you know, how can we be body neutral? And I know you speak
Yeah.
about this in the coaching class that I'm involved with you, which is feeling safe in our body. How can we feel safe in our body when for so many who have struggled with their weight feels that their body has betrayed them? Feels that it's not something that they can count on. And so how do we feel safe in our body when we're, sort of have that mentality?
And I think that's why I changed my approach over the years to go to body neutrality instead of body positivity. Because when we shift the way we think and what we believe about our body, we then change the day to day thoughts that we experience with our body. The thought we have when we walk in the closet in the morning and we try a pair of pants, it's a little bit tight. Like the random little thoughts that we have about ourselves and our body is actually what creates this space of not feeling safe in our body, not feeling comfortable. Many women will tell me, I don't feel comfortable. This comfort notion that people talk about is really feeling unsafe in their body because of the way they're thinking, criticizing, judging their body. So when we ask the question, how can we change that? How can we become safe in our body? It's about looking at the thoughts, the narrative, the stories we tell ourselves based on what we have learned, right? Based on what we think and what we've been told that our body should look like. It's really to examine the day-to-day thoughts so we can create safety for being in our body. And I want to add one thing because that comes up all the time. Women will tell me, but Stephanie, I felt so much more confident when I was smaller, when I didn't gain the weight.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure many women will relate to this. Like, when now I'm in a different body, I don't feel confident. I want to invite you to think that what you thought was confidence was actually the safety of conforming to society idols with your body. It was the
Yes,
safety
yes.
of conformity.
Yeah. When you said that
That
in
was,
the class, that was like an aha moment. It was an awakening. It was like, yes, it's not about feeling confident, it's about feeling safe because we now fit in.
yes,
We're not on the outside.
yes,
And so, listen, we could this discussion is just, really, really making me so excited. I wish we had more time. But I know it's going to trigger and really touch a chord in so
yes.
many women. How can people connect with you. And, of course, I'm in a professional coaching program, but you also have coaching programs for the, for the layperson as well. So how do they get a hold of you? I mean, at the bottom of the screen, we do have info at Stephanie Dodier, but how else can they contact you and find out about you?
Primarily stephaniedodier.com, my website, and go to work with me, which will bring you to a program called Undieting Your Life, which is what I've been talking about here.
Okay.
And also for the podcast listener, because I know some of you may be from podcast platform, Going Beyond the Food. We've been running this podcast. Yeah.
Yes.
7-year podcast, free resources, give you a taste of what we do, and then you can come into the program if you need support after.
And you don't have to do this alone. This is a major resource for you to really start working on body neutrality, working on how to really be healthy at any size, and how to have a community surround you. So thank you, Stephanie, for being with me. You can go to stephaniedodier.com, or you can go to her podcast, Undieting, what was it again?
Going Beyond the Food.
Going Beyond the Food. And so here we are at the end of another amazing show. It all starts with you, ladies, and this work that I'm talking about, this deep work that you need to do in order to feel happy, in order to feel joyful, in order to feel like you matter. Join my community. Really connect to me, EileenLemelman.com. Connect with me on my community of It All Starts With You, and I look forward to hearing from you and seeing how this show impacted you and how it touched your heart. Remember, it all starts with you. And that's all for today. Join us next time as we create a community that helps you feel accepted for being yourself, giving and receiving unconditional support for each other as we connect and inspire one another. And remember, it all starts with